Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Audrey Hasse. I am the owner of Rooted Nutrition. And before we get started, I just want to ask you guys a couple of questions. So if you can help me out by writing in the chat box, I want you to give me a yes to any of these questions if you can relate to any of these things. If you have tried all of the diets out there, if you have maybe tried and feel like you have failed all of the diets that are out there, if you feel discouraged because you feel like you're doing all the right things, but you just can't seem to reach your goals or get them to stick, and you're on that never ending cycle of chasing your goals, being successful for a little while, and then ending up back kind of right where you started again. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses. This is good. Okay. If you're confused by all the health information, I'll put health in quotes here, health information that's out there, and you don't even know what to do anymore. If you feel like you just need someone to kind of guide you and help you make sense of all of this so that it can simplify it and help you figure out just how to live a simply healthy life, then give me a big yes. Good. Okay. I see a lot of yeses. This is exciting. Okay, I'm glad you're here then because I can help. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys now. Okay, so many yeses. Good. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, so many yeses. Okay. All right, so let me share my screen with you guys now. This is the first of our three-part series that we're going to talk about. It's called Building a Foundation of Health in 2021. And in this first part of the series, we're going to go back to the basics and we're going to talk about what to eat to fuel a healthy life. So before we get started, I want to give you a little introduction. My name is, again, Audrey Hasse. I'm a registered dietitian, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm the owner of Rooted Nutrition. I have a bachelor's of science in exercise and sports science from Ursinus and a master's degree in sports nutrition and exercise science from Marywood University. And as I was working as a personal trainer after college, I realized how important diet was to really help my clients reach their goals. And I knew I had to take myself back to school at that point and become a dietitian so I could really learn all that there was to learn about nutrition and best help my clients find optimal health. So now I am a wife and a mom to two young kids who are on here somewhere. I saw you guys. Hi. And I work every day to find a balance of being a mom and fueling my passion for sharing about all things healthy with the people around me. So at Rooted Nutrition, I run a nutrition and healthy lifestyle coaching business where I work one on one with clients really closely to help them reach their goals. I provide the guidance and the feedback and the accountability that they need to make the healthy changes that are realistic for them and that will really last forever. So, enough about me. Let's let's get started, okay? So, it's a new year. It's 2021, thankfully, finally. Yay. But a new year, it's always a great chance for a new beginning, a clean slate, a new chapter, all the things, you know? So it's a great chance to set goals and set intentions and really make some New Year's resolutions that will hopefully turn into positive, healthy changes in our lives, right? So I just asked you a few questions about whether or not you felt defeated by all of the health information that's out there and you felt confused about what to even do anymore because you've likely tried it all and it just might not be working and you're tired of it. So you've made resolutions in the past, I'm sure, but somehow they have never just seemed to stick and to last past, those first kind of honeymoon phase couple of weeks of a new year. So here's the thing. In order for any of your health goals or resolutions to actually stick this year, you have to start by laying a strong foundation. And that's what we're going to talk about over the course of this series. So, this is the year of owning your health. It's the year to take ownership and responsibility for your health and to do the work to make healthy changes that are going to last. And that's what you're doing just by being here today. That's the first step. So, I want to help you lay that groundwork and set that strong foundation on which you can build and create your healthiest life and reach those goals. And I know that the foundational stuff, it's not always cute, right? It's not always exciting, but it really is truly where you have to start in order to create something that's realistic and sustainable for you and for your unique needs. It's not one size fits all. You have very special needs, you have your own lifestyle, so it has to make sense for you. And I always like to know why I'm doing things, why it's important, and I really believe that knowledge is power. So I want to empower you to choose to do this foundational work that will evolve into lasting and real changes in your life. So, in this first part of the series, we're going to go way back to the basics and we're going to break down the path to optimal health. And then we're going to talk about what to eat to fuel your healthy life and why any of that matters. So let's do it. Okay, so here's our little pyramid, right? Where at the very tippy top of this pyramid is what I would call your healthiest life, your optimal health. You're just like living the dream here, right? You're healthy, you don't stress about food, you're happy with your body, you're moving, you're sleeping, you're firing on all cylinders, and you have all the things going on. You're at your optimal health. But in order to get there, you have to do the foundational work first. And I know that you guys have all heard this analogy before, but my dad and my husband are builders, so I cannot help myself here. You can't build a strong house on a bad foundation, right? Things will go wrong at some point. So if you want your dream home, you have to pour a super strong foundation first. You can't paint the house and make it pretty unless you have a house to paint. So the foundational stuff, while not always flashy, is important. And when it comes to your healthiest life, the foundational work that needs to be done has to do with creating your healthy mindset, caring for your body in all of the right ways, and fueling your body with a proper diet. So as you can see from this pyramid, where you are in that part of your life, your mindset, how you're treating your body, and your diet then affects your choices, your behaviors, your habits around things like food and exercise and sleep, for better or for worse. So we are going to focus on the food aspect today. And throughout this series, we'll kind of expand a little bit, but we're really going to focus on the food aspect so that we can lay that foundation for what to eat that will then shape your food choices, change your behaviors, and help you create healthier habits that will become how you live your life and the lifestyle that you create. So here's an example that some of you can probably relate to, I'm sure, right? So you're a busy mom, right? You want to be doing all of the right things for your health, but there's just no time for that. There's no time to prepare meals, to think about what you're eating. There's definitely not time for exercise or self-care. You're focused on everyone else with little thought for yourself, for your needs. And if that's the foundation that you're working from, it is going to affect your choices. You'll likely eat out of convenience rather than out of health. You'll put exercise on the back burner. You'll sacrifice sleep and live in a constant state of stress, and your health will suffer because of that. So can anybody raise your hand? Anybody relate to that? I know I can. So on the flip side of that coin, right? Let's say, again, you're a busy mom, but you're committed to prioritizing your health. You're owning your mindset. You're giving your body what it needs to thrive. You're fueling your busy life with a really healthy diet, and you're valuing your health. If that's your foundation, that's going to affect your choices and your habits. You'll be more likely to make time for self-care and do things like meditating and journaling and all the fun things. And you'll make time for exercise because it makes you feel strong and it makes you feel really good. And you'll choose to make the effort to eat healthy foods and to fuel your body really well. And then that will result in a much healthier and happier you, not only for you, but for the people around you, the people that you're caring for. Okay, so how, right? I know you're all like, great, that sounds good. I know all of this, but how? Like, I want the facts. How do we do it? That's the big question. What the heck should we be eating to fuel our healthy life? It's the $1,000,000 question, or like the multi-billion-dollar question that the diet industry is fueled on. It is the big secret that they do not want you to know because it's really very simple. It's not easy by any means. Believe me, it is not easy, but it is really very simple. So here's the big secret. You ready for this? I will tell you exactly what to eat to fuel your healthiest life. And it is 3 things. It's protein, it's healthy fat, and it's high fiber carbohydrates, or as I like to call it, PHFC. So let me back up for just a second before I get into this. So I want to preface this by saying that I will not get super sciencey here or complicated. My goal is truly to uncomplicate this for you, but I truly believe that if you're going to make changes, you have to know this stuff and you have to know why you're eating and what you're eating and why it's important. So if we're going to do the more fun stuff in the next couple weeks of like meal planning and talking about healthy swaps for different things and eating out at restaurants and how to indulge without guilt, which we will get to, I promise, we have to start with these foundational pieces first so that the rest of that makes any sense at all and you understand kind of why I'm saying what I'm saying. So, here we go. There are only 4 places that you get calories from, and that is protein, fat, carbohydrates, and alcohol. That's it. Those are called our macronutrients, right? We're going to leave alcohol to the side for now. It's a fun topic, but we're going to leave alcohol for now and we're going to focus on the other 3. We're going to focus on protein, fat, and carbohydrates. That's it. Those are the only places that you get calories or the fuel for your body from. Everything that you eat, everything that you drink fits into one of those categories. Some cross between a few, some are just one, but that's it. Some are good quality, some are junk, but again, that's it. So whether you're eating a double cheeseburger with fries and a Coke, or you're eating a field green salad with a salmon vinaigrette or salmon and a lemon vinaigrette, excuse me, you're eating carbs, protein, and fat. So the goal is to make the most of the foods that you're eating, to maximize the nutritional value of what you are eating and minimize the poor quality fuel at the same time. So let's break it down. We're going to start with protein first. Protein is an essential part of a healthy diet. It helps you build muscle. It helps to stabilize blood sugar and strengthen your hair and your skin and your nails. It helps to keep you fuller longer. And like anything else, quality really matters. So all those kind of buzzwords like organic and grass-fed, sustainably raised, wild caught, all of these things do matter in a sense that they do kind of offer a better quality protein. So do think about those things for sure. And then when you think about a protein portion size, we're not weighing things, we're not measuring things, but I want to give you kind of a good place to start when you're thinking about protein. So meals, that's going to be like 4 or 6 ounces. And a really easy way to know what that looks like is if you take your hand, the whole bottom of your hand is usually about 6 ounces. And then when you think about snacks, 3 or so ounces, that's usually like the palm of your hand. So a very simple way to figure out roughly how much protein you should start with. Again, you can always go up from there, but start with at a meal, 4 to 6 ounces with a meal, about 3 ounces for a snack. So that's our protein. The next is healthy fat. Poor fat has gotten a bad reputation, but fat is so important. It is an essential part of a healthy diet. It's the slowest of those, the slowest digested of those macronutrients, which means that it's really good for blood sugar control. It's really good at keeping you fuller longer and satisfied from your meals to help you from kind of grazing all day and being hungry and kind of munchy all day long. Really important for brain development and brain function. And for women, super important for hormone function. Hormones are like a topic in and of themselves, but just know for hormone functions, which is like the name of the game for us, fat, healthy fat is very important. So for serving size for fat, aim for like, again, just a ballpark, like 2 or 3 tablespoons per meal and snack. And again, quality matters when it comes to fat. We're talking good quality, healthy fat here. So quality oils, quality fats, rather than refined and processed oils and fats. Some really good tips for adding healthy fats to your diet would be to cook with healthy oils. So cook with things like extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oil. As you cook with them, you're going to be incorporating them really easily into your diet. And then think of it almost as a garnish. So you want to sprinkle things like nuts over your meal or add a vinaigrette or a sauce or sprinkle cheese on top or top the dish with avocado or a dollop of guacamole, something like that. Just always think about where your fat is coming from and make sure that you have it on your plate. The next one is high fiber carbohydrates. Again, poor carbohydrates. They've gotten a very bad reputation, but they're not inherently bad. What we've done to them is not good, and our portion sizes are not always great, of course, but like anything else, the source matters and the quality matters. Carbs are an immediate source of energy for your body, for your brain, for your muscles. They help in recovering post-workout. And yes, they are broken down into sugar in your body, and that does impact your blood sugars. And that's the reason why I say high fiber carbs. A couple of reasons why I always specify high fiber carbs when you're choosing carbohydrates. They take longer, high fiber carbs take longer for your body to break them down and digest them, which means that they're going to have less impact on your blood sugars. And I will get to blood sugars in a second. There's a reason why I keep talking about that. But I want you to think high fiber carbs because your body has to work on them a little bit more to break them down. You're going to glean a lot more nutrients from them that way too, which is really good. And then all that fiber is really, really good for your gut health, which is where the majority of your immune system lives. And of course, fiber helps keep you regular, which we all love. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you want to think of an example, a poor quality carb would be something like a piece of white bread, right? Not really getting much nutritional value out of a piece of white bread. You're really just eating sugar at the end of the day. The flip side of that would be like a sprouted whole grain bread. You're getting a lot more out of that sprouted whole grain bread. You're getting fiber, you're getting protein, you're getting nutrients, vitamins, minerals. A lot more goes into that sprouted whole grain bread than does the piece of white bread. So that's where I'm saying kind of maximize the nutritional value of your foods. Just make the most of the things that you are eating so that you're getting the most out of each thing. So another good example, really simple example, is an apple versus apple juice, right? Apple juice, you're just basically drinking a cup of sugar. There's no fiber there. There's nothing for your body to work on. Whereas the apple has skin, there's things in there, there's fiber in there that your body has to work on and break down. So it's going to get a lot more nutrients and it's going to take your body a lot longer to break that down, which is a good thing. So that's our PHFC. Some sources of those. So I did create for you guys a handout that you have access to, our sources of PHFC. So check that out. It has a little bit more as far as, this is not a comprehensive list here, but the sheet that I made for you has some really good sources on there just to kind of get you started. Again, not a comprehensive list, but a good place to get you started as you start to incorporate these foods into your diet. So some good sources. When we talk about protein, the important thing with protein really is to vary your sources. You want to get a good combination of animal protein and plant-based protein. So if you're a vegan or you're a vegetarian, just make sure that protein's a priority for you in your diet from plant-based sources. So if you're not vegan or you're not vegetarian, that's fine too. Incorporate plants as often as possible. Great. But some good sources of protein, things like poultry, chicken, turkey, duck, red meat, things like beef and buffalo and lamb, pork, seafood, eggs, dairy, things you might not think about right away, things like collagen powder or protein powder, things like bone broth and peas and beans and lentils and tempeh. And then nuts and seeds are also good sources of protein. And then for healthy fats, you have things like healthy oils, avocado oil, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, things like avocados and coconuts again, mayonnaise, nuts and seeds and nut and seed butters and olives and salad dressings. These are all really good sources of fat as well. Eggs are a great source of fat. Full fat dairy is another one. And then animal proteins also can have really good sources of fat. If you think about salmon, salmon is an animal protein, yes, but it's also a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. And then when we think of carbs, so when we think of carbs, I know a lot of times we go right to the bread, the pasta, the rice, things like that. But in reality, carbs also come from fruits and vegetables. So those should be the priority as we start to think about incorporating fiber, right? Much higher in fiber, much higher in vitamins and minerals. And you want to look for things that have grown from the ground that are in their most natural state. That's going to offer you a lot more fiber and a lot more nutrients. So things like fruits and vegetables, starchy vegetables like root vegetables, potatoes and sweet potatoes and squash and beets and carrots. These are all good starchy vegetables. And then when you think about non-starchy vegetables, things like asparagus and broccoli and cauliflower and greens and cucumber and kale and all of these things are very good non-starchy veggies. And then whole grains, again, as close to their natural form as you can get them. So things like farro and quinoa and oats and rice. These are going to be a really good whole, real food source of high fiber carbohydrates. All right, so why? right? I know I told you we would talk about why. Why eat this PHFC balanced way? The first reason is that eating PHFC balanced, it helps you to build a real food foundation or real food roots. And what that means is that when we're talking about creating this diet that has a real food foundation, it means that our baseline diet that we always come back to and start from is a healthy, balanced diet. So, yes, you can deviate from that from time to time, of course, but you always come back to those real food roots as kind of your daily normal. The second reason is that eating a good balance of protein, fat, and fiber at every meal helps you to crush your cravings. I know that we can all relate to cravings, right? Like, I would be surprised if none of us have ever had like the cravings and we just had to have something. So, eating this way helps to crush those cravings. They can be the brick wall that you run into when you're really trying to be good, right? Or stick to your goals, and they can seem overwhelming at times. And it's literally your brain screaming at you to eat carbohydrates, and you're just over here, like, just trying to be good, just trying not to eat carbs, like, leave me alone. But the cravings are going to come for you. So I have to let you in on a little secret about that. Your brain and your body are most likely going to win at some point. Eventually, you can have all the willpower, but at some point your brain and your body and their needs are going to win out. And that's why I asked about trying and failing those diets, right? When you think it's just about willpower, it comes down to a lot more than that. It comes down to eventually being overly hungry, under fueling your body, and your body eventually getting what it needs because it's going to at some point. So maybe it ends up coming in an unbalanced kind of over consuming sort of way, but it's not just your lack of willpower, it is your biology. And really briefly about that, here's why. So, this is what I call our blood sugar roller coaster, right? So, when you eat poor quality foods or mostly high carb, high sugar meals, and you aren't balancing them out with the proper protein and fat, you're going to be on this blood sugar roller coaster all day. And again, I'm not going to go super sciencey here, but I want to give you the facts and to help you understand why you crash at 3 p.m. every day, why you have to reach for coffee all day long, and why you literally can't avoid the candy or the salty, crunchy snacks. So let's say you eat a granola bar and a banana for breakfast, right? Maybe you have a coffee, sweetened coffee, whatever, along the way. You're starting your day with straight sugar. So your blood sugar spikes, right? You eat sugar, your blood sugar is going to spike. Now, something really, really, really important to know about your body. Your body loves when things are at equilibrium or homeostasis. Like when everything is as it should be, that's what your body works day and night to achieve. So it would be as if this big squiggly line that you see here was more of a straight line or like little rolling hills. That would be equilibrium. And that's what your body's trying to achieve day and night. So, what happens is that your blood sugar spikes after your high sugar breakfast, right? And what goes up, the body's going to work to bring back down. So it does. And then around like, you know, 10 a.m., your blood sugar crashes down low. You're hungry. You grab another cup of coffee, you grab a muffin, you grab an apple, whatever, and you go on your way, which creates another spike. And then you're going to have another crash. And that cycle continues all day long. So the cravings come in those crashes. So remember, your body doesn't like when things are too high or too low. So the easiest way when your blood sugar crashes for your body to get that blood sugar back up is for your brain to ask for it, right? So that you eat it. So your brain starts saying, give me sugar, right? It's smart. Your body is really smart. It needs to bring your blood sugar back up. So it asks for it, says, give me sugar. It screams for it. You feel this as a craving, as an inability to walk by the kitchen and avoid the sweets or avoid the salty snacks. So this happens all day long. By 3 p.m., you're wiped. You crash hard. You feel exhausted. You end up grazing all day, or you're over hungry, or you're hangry by dinner time. Hangry. And whatever the case may be, you feel this kind of blood sugar roller coaster all day long. So it's not just your lack of willpower, right? It is science. And the beauty of eating PHFC is that it does balance this blood sugar, right? It naturally brings this crazy squiggly line into more of a straight line or more of those like slightly rolling hills, which is how it should be all day long. And that helps you avoid those big old spikes and those big old crashes to keep you pretty even keel most of the day. So first we have why eat PHFC. It builds that real food foundation. It helps you to crush your cravings. The third one is that it's going to increase energy levels, right? So we build this PHFC balance to help increase energy levels. When you aren't on that blood sugar roller coaster all day long, you aren't crashing all day long, your energy is a little bit better. You stay pretty level. You aren't relying on carbs and sugar and caffeine to get you through the day anymore. So your body is able to use this good quality fuel that you're putting into it to get you from breakfast to lunch to dinner without having to graze, without having to munch all day long. So if you think of your metabolism like a fire, this is you putting big old logs on that fire all day long to keep it burning really strong. And then the fourth reason is that it just really gives you a simple, easy template to follow, that it's not restrictive, right? There's not rules to follow. There's no failures involved. It's not a diet that you're going to win or lose. It's just a simple template that helps you make balanced choices that are going to fuel your body really well. So you can do this anywhere. You can make it make sense in your life. You can go out to eat. You can travel. You can make it through the holidays and know that you're just living this solid foundation of health with each meal that you create. So next week, if we look at this pyramid where we started in the beginning, right? We talked about today the roots. We talked about laying that healthy foundation with the foods that we eat. And then next week, what we're going to do is we're going to take it up to the next level and start talking about how that impacts our choices and our habits and our behaviors around food. We're going to talk next week about the template for building healthy, balanced meals. How to apply this template to our everyday life. We're going to take this PHFC balance and we're literally going to talk about how to make a plate of food. Like, what does that actually look like? Make it really tangible for you guys. We're going to talk about meal planning and meal prepping, and then we're going to talk about how to take all of this into the real world and go out to eat at a restaurant, how to navigate the holidays, how to travel, how to do all of this, how to make all of these, eat healthier resolutions actually transform into something real, something realistic that you can take with you throughout your entire life. And then in the final week of the series, we're going to talk about that top tier of the pyramid and talk about how to make this sustainable, right? How to find balance, how to tune into the cues that your body is giving you as we talk about learning how to indulge without guilt or overdoing it or finding food freedom. We're going to talk about that so that you can truly just live your healthiest life. So I'm really excited to keep going on this topic. I hope that you guys are. I hope you got a lot out of this, and I could not see the chat when I was doing this, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so I can check out the chat and answer any questions that you guys do have. I need help with meal planning. I keep wasting money. Yes. Okay, Michelle. Yes. Meal planning is coming next week. I'm super excited about that topic. But like I said in the beginning, to get to meal planning, I needed you guys to know what I was talking about, like why I'm telling you to eat the things that I'm saying. We had to talk kind of about why eat protein, why eat fat, why eat carbs. So meal planning is like such a great way to save money because you end up using leftovers strategically. You only buy what you need. We're going to go over all of that next week. So please come back. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to give you a meal planning template next week. I'm going to give you some recipes next week. I'm really excited about that. There's a handout. Why are eggs considered fats, not protein? They're both. So eggs are a great source of protein and eggs are a great source of fat. I may have just not listed them because I ran out of space on that little tiny thing, but eggs are both. Eggs are a really good source of protein and eggs are a great source of fat as well. That should have said healthy fat. Oh, yes, gotcha. Okay. Will there be a recording? Yes, there is a recording of this. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Yes, there is a handout. You should be able to scroll up in the chat and it is right there for you to download. And it has some really good handouts or some really good sources of protein and fat and all that. And determined to educate and feed my body. Good. Yes. That is my goal for you guys too. That's what I want you to get out of this is there has to be a little bit of an education piece because we've all heard so many things out there. There's so much chatter about what the right thing is to do. And it's like, it's kind of overwhelming. So I really want to help you kind of figure out what works for you in your life, what makes you feel your best, and help you get there. So good. I'm glad that you're excited. Comment on brown rice. Brown rice is it's a high fiber it's carb. It's a high fiber carb, compared to white rice you're going to get a little bit more fiber out of it. When anything is closer to its natural state, you're going to get more nutrients from it. So if you think of white rice, that tends to have been stripped of all of the kind of the outer layer that makes it brown. Sometimes there's different kinds of rice, but when you think about white rice, it tends to have been stripped of all of those nutrients. So you're really just left a lot of times with, you know, you're kind of just eating sugar at the end of the day. It's a starch. So brown rice, really good quality brown rice, is going to have more fiber. It's going to have possibly more protein too, because it is closer to its natural state. There's more fiber intact in that rice. So when we're talking about oils, this was a good question. It said, what oils are good for cholesterol? So oils, you want to look for unrefined, unprocessed oils, things like extra virgin olive oil, things like coconut oil and avocado oil are my favorites. I really like those. And yes, the flyer is there. Hopefully you find that, Michelle. Also for cooking, same thing. Olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. I like to bake with coconut oil, actually. You can bake with it, you can cook with it, you can roast with it, all the things with coconut oil. The thing I like about avocado oil is actually that it has kind of a higher smoke point. So you're going to be able to get a good sear on things. You're going to be able to use it on the grill really well. That's one of the reasons why I like avocado oil as well. Let's see. Other questions? Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, I don't see any more questions coming in. So I do want to remind you guys of one thing before we say goodbye. So first of all, thank you for being here. I'm so excited that I was able to do this with you and share this with you. And I really hope that you come back next week. But I want to remind you that you do have this handout. You don't see the flyer either, but thank you for letting us know. You should get it in an email. If you can't see it here, the handout should be coming your way. And then next week, like I mentioned, I do have some goodies for you guys too. I'm going to have this meal planning template and some recipes to kind of get you started that are all really balanced recipes to get you started with some healthy meal planning. So don't forget to come back same time for that as well. And then the final thing before we say goodbye, if you feel like you are interested and you are determined to really start your health journey, head over to my website. It's rootednutritionist.com. Reach out to me and I would love to talk to you for a free 15-minute consult just about your goals and if I can help you get there in any way, I would love to help you do that. So contact information is right there for you guys. My Instagram is rooted.nutritionist. If you want to go to my website, it is rootednutritionist.com. So thank you guys so much for being here and hopefully I will see you again next week.